The Division has scratched an itch that I've had since playing Mass Effect 2. The graphics, setting, combat, performances are all done so well that I don't think it could have been made any better. Mixed out with an amazingly well integrated multiplayer option, this easily comes out as one of my favorite games of this year. What really stood out to me when I first played The Division is the gameplay. It feels like it was taken straight from the Mass Effect franchise and then polished and refined until you have what I think is one of the best cover-based third-person shooters of this decade. The one gripe that I had with the combat system though is that I really only used 2 of the abilities available. It seemed like there was a deep system there that I didn't even begin to scratch. Since I was playing solo through the entire game, I only really had a need for the healing and the explosive ability. Some of the other abilities, like the turrets, didn't really help much in combat, since you would just need to hunker down and stay in one place for them to be helpful, which might come in handy in the Dark Zone. Also, at some point in the game, it does feel like you have to grind a bit to get up to speed. I've only really had that problem around level 10 and around level 22, so overall it's not a giant bore like in other RPGs. One thing that really stood out to me in this game was the atmosphere. Everything feels desolate, deserted, and just gloomy all around. The graffiti, damage done to the city, and attention to detail in everything was just spectacular. It didn't feel like just a randomly generated city or a city filled with the same textures or models. Every area felt special and different. The graphics in this game are also phenomenal. There were some texture popping when you first load the game and you run into another area, but other than that it ran consistently well on the PlayStation 4 and it looked amazing. Also, the UI here is phenomenal. The way the game interacts with you, whether it's to find your next mission or just in combat, it feels so unobtrusive while still letting you see all of the information you need. The last thing I'll gush over is the voice acting. I was a little disappointed to find out the main character was a silent protagonist, much like Half-Life or The Legend of Zelda. Every other character in the game, though, is wonderfully portrayed and very well acted. The problem I had with the story, though, is that it didn't mean much. Basically, just a way to get leveled up so you can see the end game and run through the Dark Zone more efficiently. But I think that's the case with any MMORPG, so I'm a little more forgiving in that aspect. Overall, the game is fantastic. If you've liked other games like Mass Effect, Uncharted, or even Destiny, you might just love this game. The graphics and atmosphere are fantastic, the combat feels tight and incredibly fun. Right now I'll just keep it with the single player campaign and I'll probably do a review of the multiplayer and Dark Zone areas. But at the end of the day, if the game sounds interesting, or you liked any of those other games, then I would definitely recommend giving this one a shot.